Some states are now instituting their own second stimulus package right away. Hey everybody, this is LALATE with a second stimulus check and stimulus package update for today. Our second of 3 stimulus package updates. Earlier today, we detailed the really shocking elements of a Tuesday congressional hearing with Steve Mnuchin and Jerome Powell and why a second stimulus package will be outlined in that discussion. Later today, we detail really the shocking and disturbing issues about FPUC, which, as you know, is expiring in late July. That's $600 from the federal government. But right now, some really great news about what states are doing for their own second stimulus package. As much as $1,200. Did you not hear this? It's really great news. The question is, why aren't more states doing this? Republican Governor Brad Little is now in Idaho instituting what is effectively Idaho's own second stimulus package. Ironically, it's exactly the type of money, the same amount of money that the federal government is proposing in the HEROES Act. If you don't know, while members of Congress are on recess, on their umpteenth vacation yet again, the HEROES Act was passed by the Democrats in the House and proposes a $1,200 second stimulus check. It was originally supposed to be 6 $2,000 checks or until the pandemic improves or unemployment rates drop. It's now in the Senate, having arrived from the House. But what we don't know, and we often miss completely, is what states are doing for second stimulus check packages. Here comes Idaho. Exactly the same amount of money, $1,200. So Brad Little has allocated $100 million to provide for his citizens of his state $1,200 second stimulus checks. Why aren't more states doing this? Is this actually sort of the roadmap of what other states can do? I'll tell you why maybe it is. Idaho received a certain amount of money from the CARES Act. As you know, the CARES Act provided money for citizens, provided that second stimulus check, that first stimulus check for you, $1,200, but also provided money for states. Idaho received $1.2 billion through the CARES Act. So what is it doing? It's taking from that $100 million and giving it to the citizens of its state as a second stimulus check right now. How does it work? Those individuals that are in Idaho, those residents of Idaho, who return to work either full-time or part-time, get a check. And let me explain to you how it works. So if you return full-time, anytime in the year 2020, you receive a $1,200 second stimulus check right away. If you return part-time, you immediately receive $750. His focus is providing an incentive for people to get off of unemployment and return back to work. Now, as I know, and I'm going to jump in here right now and qualify these statements, this is a Republican plan. Republicans focus upon incentives of getting people back to work. But the focus currently now is quite skewed because a lot of people can't go back to work. A lot of people now have COVID-19. A lot of people don't have a job to go back to work. As detailed in the first stimulus check video earlier today, there are 45,000 new COVID-19 cases on Friday alone. Some states are showing a 5% increase daily from the prior day. So when you have COVID-19, you can't be working. 45,000 people can't be working from just that Friday number. Moreover, first-time unemployment claims passed 1 million this last Thursday, and the Department of Labor number released on Thursday. For the 14th consecutive week, unemployment is now around 13%. So to claim that everyone is, ready for the Idaho plan is misguided, but at least it is a second stimulus package for citizens of his state. So how does it work? The way it works is Idaho will dedicate to those employees through their tax assist access point tap the ability to receive $1,200. They must return to work between May 1st and July 1st, and have made less than $75,000 last year, they will get a $1,200 bonus if they return back to work full time, and if they return part time, they get $750. Now, the question is, however, and you know what I'm getting at, is if these states like Idaho really have all this money dedicated to them in the CARES Act, the March first stimulus package, then why aren't they giving more to the citizens of their state? We've seen the issue of liquidity really come up, and this channel has focused on it. As you know, our second stimulus check videos really cover three subject matters. The first one is usually the check every day. The second one is the incentives, the loans, the liquidity, and the third one is the PUA and UI. With the second one, there's been this concern about how liquid the states are. You don't want your states defaulting. And there's a concern that some states could default. The problem is that states' budget cycles start anew in July. And with that, there's a lot of economists saying that a lot of states are going to start defaulting in July because they don't have a stimulus package, a second stimulus package, coming from the federal government. Now, they can't apply for loans. They can't apply for the Main Street Lending Program underwritten by the Federal Reserve that starts from $250,000, goes up to $33 million per loan agreement. But that Main Street Lending Program has not gone well. It has not written loans yet. So states are in a real big bind. But ultimately the question and concern is, hey, these states have this money to allocate to the citizens. Why aren't they allocating it now? One thing that states are doing, which is very, very good, and this channel has detailed before, is states are extending unemployment benefits the number of weeks. We detailed earlier in this channel in this week that you have certain number of weeks of UI benefits. You have certain number of weeks of PUA benefits. The CARES Act extended the number of weeks of UI benefits under a new law under the CARES Act, FPEUC, if I remember the acronym correctly. It added additional weeks. What's great with the states is that a lot of states have extended the number of weeks that you can get UI benefits beyond that CARES Act. The states have the inherent authority to extend weeks of unemployment assistance beyond what they normally do in the case of emergency situations. This is an emergency situation. Emergencies are usually triggered by unemployment rates and unemployment numbers in their states. Those numbers have been reached now. So many, if not most, states are now extending and giving additional weeks of unemployment assistance beyond current numbers. But what are your thoughts? There are 42 questions to yesterday's very well-watched second stimulus check video. And here we go. Shannon says Governor Abbott is to blame for COVID-19 spreading in Texas. He's too busy following Trump's lead. Anaja. But what's this stuff about Pat Toomey trying to spread around that seniors don't deserve a stimulus? He doesn't think we've been impacted by the disease. Awful. AWZ, they just made it mandatory to wear a mask in Washington, mask or misdemeanor. Becky, why do these idiots in office say that we're better than we were 2 months ago? It's very badly misguided. I agree 100%. We did that as first stimulus check video today, that Larry Kudlow's comments that, America's back, American economy is booming, the unemployment numbers are great. No, it is so off. It is so off the deep end. It's absolutely untrue. Now, his comments were early in the month, but the labor numbers from Thursday were horrible. The COVID number cases rising are horrible. So that all suggests that the second stimulus packages need to be passed on an emergency basis. That we can't wait until August to get financial relief. It's just not going to It's just not going to work. Protector of Peace, the Most High said no. Kimberly, finally received my $1,000 grant. Kevin Lee. See, I knew it from the reopening it was going to be a huge mistake, and now they're seeing disastrous results. Very well said. Daryl, where is this focus on the people? The wealthy and the powerful are robbing us blind. I mean, Larry Kudlow keeps on talking about how wonderful the PPP loan program was. The PPP loan program was not wonderful. It was not a great success. It really only helped big businesses. And those big businesses are just, back closing their doors or about to be ordered to close their doors. A lot of states are on the brink of closing down restaurants again or limiting capacity of restaurants back down into a smaller number of in-house dining numbers, whatever you call that. I think it's like 25% they're talking about at the moment, than where it was before. So it's, PPP has not been a success. Baby K, but we're never going to close down again, said Trump. He's not the one to decide. It's the governors. Linda, Anaja, question, is Javina and her executive crew at the SBA on the same vacation as Congress? Yes. Everyone is at that same resort in the Bahamas with their feet in the jacuzzi, having a cocktail and singing Mitch McConnell's greatest hits. Phil Morgan, the president moved the RNC to Florida. He did not see this outbreak coming. He needs to move it again and keep it a secret. Mickey Jones, Florida's numbers are skyrocketing. Robert, LALATE 2020, sharing support. I'm not running for president. Paul, waiting for the grant. Grandma ducking, rising cases are all bad. Very well said. Shania, people can get a free Obama phone. Okay. Lisa Gray, our government has been embarrassed and disappointed to us. Both sides, both parties have just not been good on this. Gina's TV plug. I love this channel. Thank you. Nestor, if someone's afraid they cannot afford a regular bank account, then the fees, they have to try a lower balance. Phil Clark, they just don't get it. They're shooting themselves in the foot, being careless about people's needs and neglecting the political suicide. This channel agrees 100%. Any party, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, and you think that you can dangle a second stimulus check over the mouths of U.S. citizens come, August or September and say, hey, we did such a wonderful thing for you, and act like it's a carrot you're hanging it over Bugs Bunny's mouth, it ain't going to cut it. And you know why? Because that second stimulus check should have been in their hands in April. It should have been in their hands in May. It should have been in their hands in June. It should have been in their hands in July. You can't have Americans on lockdown from March and April and not give them crap, give them one check, and then claim that the entire U.S. economy is reopened, when it's not. A claim that all these jobs are back there, which they are not. Claim that COVID-19 cases are not a concern, which they are. 45,000 new cases. You can't do that because no one, the data doesn't lie. The data doesn't lie. And so ultimately, I think what you're going to see is more states really following what Idaho did, but doing it a little bit better. Giving second stimulus check to their citizens, giving benefits to their citizens, understanding that 167 weekly benefits, if you're in California, is not going to pay anything. Understanding that if you're in Massachusetts and it's, like $350 per week for unemployment assistance at base level at maximum benefits is not going to pay the rent. Understand that their citizens are going to be out on the street. They're going to be homeless. Why is this a concern? Here you go. I'll show it to you right now. If a citizen is out of work because they have COVID-19 and they don't have enough benefits coming from them wherever it's coming from, they're not going to make rent. If you have rent forbearance, rent forgiveness, or rent moratorium, whatever you call it, which is expiring in late July, if you have it expiring in late July, those landlords are going to evict the tenants that aren't paying the rents. The landlords are not going to have the rent from the tenants because the tenants couldn't make the rent. The landlords are not going to make their own mortgages. The landlords' mortgages are going to be due because the mortgage forgiveness period, a moratorium, is also expiring in late July. The landlords are going to lose their properties. The banks are going to default on the properties. The banks are then going to have liquidity problems because they're going to have all these defaulted mortgages. It's just going to keep on going up the food chain. And there you have the members of Congress saying, hey, we didn't want to keep people on unemployment assistance because they'll never go back to work. Because of that lack of focus, all these things will happen. And it'll get very, very bad very, very quickly. If you have questions in today's video, drop them in the comments below and we may feature them in tomorrow's recording. As always, stay on LA for more.